Today I'm going to design 3 different restaurant menus, one for like a steakhouse, another for a trendy kind of quirky tapas place, and then a third more so a cafe, coffee shop kind of vibe. I know that we as designers kind of like to go into places and judge the menus and signs, and really bottom line, if the food is good, nobody really cares, and we all know that. But design can help. It can help. And specifically the whole genre of layout design, whether that's menus, books, slides, anything like that. Layout is tough. Usually there's a lot of menu items, line items, different things that need to be placed in different, like lots of different fonts, different weights. You could kern text differently to make something look better or worse. There's just a lot of moving parts and a lot of things going on. With that being said, let's jump in and design these 3 menus together. So I think the best way to tackle this is maybe to do 3 different kinds of menus. So I'm gonna do one that's kind of more for like a fancy restaurant, maybe like mostly like steak and fine dining kind of cuisine. And then I'm gonna do another one for maybe like a tapas place that does like small place. This is gonna be like a little bit more of like a trendy, quirky kind of design. And then the third, maybe I'll do like more along the line of a coffee shop, kind of cafe style food, like, you know, paninis, sandwiches, but more like coffee focused. And so let's start with the fancy one. So I want this to be elegant, and I feel like I have either 2 options. I can go for like a dark background, or I can go for kind of an off-white background here. And I feel like I mostly see like off-white menus in like the little holders where it's got like the 4 corners and the menu is like held into the holder at fancy restaurants. And so I'm gonna go slightly off-white here. And so what's funny about this is we have to fabricate a little bit of branding design here. So since this is kind of a fancier place, I'm gonna try to find some sort of serif font that kind of has like some character with it. I do like this a lot. I might copy this and try some other fonts against it. This one's nice as well. It just has like some class and some character at the same time. And so it's helpful to kind of weigh these fonts against each other when we're trying to find one. That one's a little too Art Deco for me. Let's see what else we can find. So I actually like this Brookfield font because it's kind of like weighty and big, and this is gonna be like a fancy restaurant, kind of like a Ruth's Chris or a Sullivan's Steakhouse kind of vibe. And I kind of find that those menus have like a little bit more of a beefy presence in the title, especially when it just says menu. Put that somewhere right here. Make sure that we have some good space at the top and the sides. We don't want to squish our text in, right? So this does not look good. This looks way better because it has some breathing room there. This is actually going to be really, really thick because of creating line items and descriptions for things, goodness. Now I'm trying to find, if that's just our header font, I can find our little line item font, and I think I might go with another serif. I do like this nitrate font. I'm wondering if it will cause some issues with readability though. So I like this red rose font, but now I feel like my menu font doesn't fit the vibe of that. So let's try some different fonts for that. I don't hate that. I do not like that. If I close this line spacing, that might help some. Yeah, that's starting to look like something better. So something like that looks nice. We could go like starters, like your little appetizers, and then entrees. Why don't we just do one more for dessert? And space these out evenly and bring this down to give that menu header just a little bit of space up here. And maybe we can left align these as well, or we can make these bolder. And I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little line here to kind of separate our title from our menu items, just because I feel like it's kind of bleeding into each other here. And I like to have this nice defined section up here for the menu header that's already starting to look better. And we could even do that with these sections, like something like that, to where it has starters and then it's going to be that section, and then we bring these lines down, which actually I should probably select both of these and copy and paste so I know that it's the same. Yep, something like this is starting to look pretty cool. So now we have some good space for our line items down here. Just make sure everything is centered up. Now I need to find another font for our line items, and I might use Playfair for that. Let's just say we can start with like a garden salad and then like the price. This is a fancy place, so I'm going to say this is like $12, which is absolutely ludicrous. I already don't love the way that that looks, so I'm going to try to find maybe a different font for this. I might give this another chance. And then we need ingredients of a garden salad. I'm actually just going to get some lorem ipsum text for this, because this could very quickly take an extreme amount of time. Let's make this like about that size, which this is small on the screen, but it would be more so around this size. I think you can read that for sure. And then we could put one right here and say this is like a shareable flatbread, something cool like that. And then I can copy these line items and put them here. Let's put soup of the day. Seen that at a lot of places. What are other starters? I'll do like barbecue pork bun, because those are always great. And if I ever see those on a menu, I'm getting those. Space this out slightly. So this is where I feel like some people have a little bit of a problem, where I normally had a problem starting with this as well, is like, how do I actually orient this left or right? Do I group all of these and center them? But that's actually more defined off of the size of these bigger text boxes, which if you're actually creating line items and with actual ingredients, those are going to change. And so it may shift where you put your line items. And so I like to think that it doesn't matter a ton as long as you get the first one looking good. And then you need to make sure that all the rest in like the entree section and the dessert section are staying in line with that as well. So I'm going to go with something that spaces it out just a tad more. So I'm going to copy these items, go down here, and this is actually starting to come together a good bit. And so that's just one of the weird things where, you have all this white space and you're trying different fonts and you're like, I don't know if this actually looks good. But then when you start actually filling the white space with items, especially for layout things like a menu, it starts to look better the more things you have on it. So for the entrees, let's say this is a steakhouse. So I'm going to go like prime rib, 14 ounce New York strip, which sounds wonderful. Let's go 18 ounce ribeye, and then a 24 ounce tomahawk steak. Starting to come together. And lastly, we're just going to take this and copy this again down here. Okay, let's do our desserts. So we could do like a skillet cookie. That'd be fun. Let's do a cheesecake. Every steakhouse has cheesecake. And then we can do like a ice cream brownie type deal. And then for the last one, we're going to do, how do you spell tiramisu? Cool. So this is looking pretty good. I might adjust, some different things. That's a little aggressive, so I'm going to make that smaller again. I kind of want to add like a little vintage text layout. Let's put this over here so I can work with it. I'll put this as like Wilson and Drew. And Drew, we could say quality steakhouse and desserts. We got to cut some of that out. Let's just say quality steakhouse. Let's edit this. I'm just going to remove some of these spaces. Steak. And let's just say that it was made in 1994, something like that. We can make this our black color again. Let's just tilt this a little bit. Put this here. And then I'm just going to turn the opacity like way down. Something like that looks really cool. I can turn my trim view back on. It's just a little flourish, just a little something, something. I might even change the opacity a little bit more. If I wanted to, I could actually just take this and kind of put the whole thing behind the menu, trying to figure out where it feels the least awkward. We're like down there. I liked this better if I just like center it up and down, something like that, or maybe like here. Yes, I like something like that. It looks cool. I think we can say that is the first menu successfully done, and we'll move on to the more kind of trendy, quirky tapas style place. That would be cool. Let's do that. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do like a fun colored menu. Obviously, this is something that has to print, so I'll probably do something around there. Orange is pretty okay to print. You definitely don't want to do anything like blue. That would cause you some problems. I'm going to use like a trendy font, kind of something ink trappy. Might look nice. Do this. I'm not sure, but I might do like an off-white color. I think something like that looks good. and we could just say like tapas menu, just something generic for the purposes of doing this. I want to close that letter spacing even more, just tighten it up. Something like that looks cool. Put that right there. And I want to add like some text going across the top here, and maybe a script font would be cool for that. So I'm going to say like all you can eat, but I need to space that back out, and that definitely needs to be like way smaller. So I'm going to make that smaller and maybe just copy and paste that like twice, and then I can size this down. Yeah, something like that looks really, really cool, I think. Already, like right off the bat, that looks fun and quirky and very attention grabbing. I want to put another line of text right here, maybe something all caps. I could say like downtown, and that's in all caps. And if I size it down, I could put it right here, but it looks a little awkward, so I might need to up the weight on that. Maybe I can open the letter spacing on this one, and then maybe just add like a little line above it. I don't know, sometimes it looks a little awkward until you have something that's intentionally separating it from the rest of the design. So I might put like this right here. I think that helps. Or I could put it below. Yeah, that looks good. And I could also take this line and stretch it across here and see what that looks like as well. If I just make it really thin. Ooh, yeah, that's starting to look cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. What else can I add to this? I think I'm going to use this same font for the line items. And I can actually go and grab my line items from the previous menu so that I don't have to kind of type all of this again. So I want to grab these line items here. I'm just going to copy and paste those over. I haven't decided what I want to do for my section headings, but I am going to change this to Brickledge Grotesque, all of that text. This is already looking so sick. Like I really, really love this. I wish that this was like the menu at every restaurant ever. So what do we say the first thing was like starters? And if I make that smaller, I can put it right here, but I think it needs to be in something. So I might put it like in a box like this, and I can take away the object color and then add a fill or a border weight color to that. Let's make this a normal. No, I like that better. Should I make this? I think so. Yeah, something like that is looking good. I might make it slightly smaller, like right there, and then I can bring these up. Yeah, that looks cool. Make sure that this is center as well as the text is center. And then I can just copy and paste this down and change all my line items to fit the previous version. So this text said entrees. Ooh, that's difficult. I'm going to do a normal E. I know that's not technically correct, but it looks better that way. Let's do that. Bring this guy down. Brickledge Grotesque again. Change the color. And this was like 18, 14, 24. But that's irrelevant because I'm going to go through and change all the names of everything anyway. So grab my desserts, bring that down here, and change the font of that again. Bring this down. Desserts. And I want to see what this actually looks like if I make these not all caps. If I could spell. Yeah, I think I like that better. Like it's less invasive, less forceful. I'm gonna bring this up some just so I can leave a little bit of breathing room for those spaces in between the different sections. Something like that. I can group this, and group this. And then I can select all three of these to space them out evenly. Bring this down just a little bit. And then I want to put this in the middle vertically between starters and the tapas menu right there. Something like that looks really, really good. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to change any of the menu items, but for the purposes of making this menu, it's more so about the design and the layout. Honestly, this is something that is really cool that you could change the colors on, play around with the colors. Some of these are not printable, but like that's a really, really cool color that I know is probably printable. I'm going to stick with the orange. I actually really, really like this navy blue. So I'm going to stick with this navy blue for this design. For the last one, we're thinking kind of like a more kind of cafe, coffee shop. I'm still going to go more new age, more of a young vibe, because that seems to be the trend. That's where things are are shifting. So I'm gonna go kind of minimal, a little quirky on this one, but kind of a white background, black text, white, maybe some doodle kind of vibe on this one. So let's just have 2 sections on this. I'm really needing to challenge myself to not use Bricolage Grotesque on that again. So I might use something like Playfair Display and just close the spacing a lot on this. And we could say like coffee and food. Just have like a very, very simple 2-part menu. I need something to compartmentalize these 2 sections of the menu. So I'm honestly just going to put them in some boxes, I think. I'm going to delete this and make this transparent, and then the border weight black. Very, very thin line there. And then I might make this slightly smaller, copy this and bring this down, and then match that as closely as I can. Yeah, that looks good. So now I've got just this section that says coffee, and I can copy all of this, and then I'll group that and make sure it's center, and then ungroup it. And now I can just alter these a little bit. I might bring the size of these down some more. Maybe like 70 would look good. That needs to be centered. Change this to food. Now I need like some fun doodles or something. Or should I do the line items first? Let's do the line items first. And I'm thinking of making this like kind of fun to where it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, like it's not like bricky looking. Wonder what would happen if I made these all caps. I like the space that fills, but I don't necessarily like anything else about it. I think closing the line spacing on those a little bit more helps me visualize it better. Okay, I like this left justified vibe here. And then I could put like a doodle here, and then like the line items. And okay, I got it. Yep. Got it. So let's take one of these listings. I'm gonna put this here, and let's do something clean. Like let's just use Roboto, but we're gonna close the letter spacing a good bit on these. And I don't think that the description for these is very necessary. I'm going to center this text, and we could just say like drip coffee, $3. And I'm thinking about having like just the different listings kind of like boop, 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 like just kind of floating around in this box. We could do like matcha latte. Matcha's kind of expensive, so what is happening? I'm gonna go $7. That's absurd, but anyway, it's my coffee shop, so make that a little smaller. Another one, do iced coffee, $4. $4 for the ice, I guess. $1 for the ice. Iced latte, do $6 on that. What's something else I can do? Could do like hot chocolate, do $5 for that. And then it's just a game here, and then I could group these. No, ungroup, group only the text. Thank you. And center that up. Something like that looks kind of cool. And then I could just copy and paste this. I'll probably, depending on if I have the same amount of line items, I might change it. But I could say like scratch biscuit, and then like say like apple butter is $2 underneath it. Something like that. Let's do like turkey avocado is like $9. We could do a BLT for $7. Something else we could do, I don't know, something trendy, like a power wrap, I don't know. That'd probably be like $8. And then let's do a little smoothie bowl, and let's make that just an even 10. Depending upon where you live, where you're watching this, you might be like, that's absurd, but this is cheap, actually. The biscuit maybe not, but the rest of it is definitely cheap. Like a smoothie bowl would be like $14 where I live, which is absolutely ludicrous. Something like that looks really, really cool. Center that up. I wonder what this looks like with different fonts. I'm gonna be mad if I like this. Of course I do. Dang it. Whatever. It's my shop. So I'm gonna do what I want. So that's starting to look really cool. Feel like it needs a little something. So I'm gonna take this and add this to the corner here, and maybe another one right here, and rotate it. Something like that looks kind of cool. Yeah, if I make it smaller so that it more so matches the line on the outside on my boxes, I feel like that fits more. Something like that looks really, really cool. So I think we can call the third menu done as well. So that was 3 menu designs for you guys. If you thought this video was helpful, give us a like and drop a comment. Tell me which one of the 3 menus was your favorite. Try this out for yourself. If you don't know what to create, you can ask like ChatGPT to generate a menu prompt for you so that you can practice your designs. This would be a great thing to practice designs on, because menus have a lot of items and a lot of different things, and layout is really, really difficult. difficult. So if you can get good at layout, that's a huge area of design that would be really, really beneficial. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any design content, tips, tricks, tutorials, anything Kittl related, and we will see you in the next one.